On Friday night, the 6th of September 2024, my sister and I were about to finish our dinner in Penang when we got a call informing us that our nephew, Muhammad Yusoff Rawther, had been arrested, purportedly for possession of imitation guns and drugs, and that he was being held at IPD Brickfields, Kuala Lumpur. We went cold, and our fears for his safety, which we always carried with us, came to pass. And to think that it was only the weekend before this that we had spent time with our nephews in Kuala Lumpur. On the morning of 6 September 2024, Yusoff went to his car that was parked overnight on the side of the road outside his condominium block when the police ambushed him. A team of police had come in an unmarked car and a motorcycle. One of the police told Yusoff, "Saya ada terima maklumat dalam kenderaan ini ada senjata." The police asked him to open the car door, but it did not open with the remote. Then one of them directed Yusoff to open the car door manually, and it still did not work either. One of the police then opened the car door from the passenger side and asked Yusoff to open the door on the driver's side. Yusoff was then restrained at the rear end of the car while the police searched the car and came out with a bag and asked Yusoff what it was, and he said he did not know. And they then showed Yusoff a gun from inside the bag. They then handcuffed Yusoff, got him to sit in the back of the car together with the police, and another one of them drove the car to IPK KL and searched the car there. Yusoff, who was outside the car, was being held back at the rear end of the car, and he could not see what was happening inside the car. And that's when the drugs appeared. At the car park in front of the surau at the IPK KL. After this, the police had to process Yusoff. He was not given food or water and was made to stand for about 3 hours. The police at IPKL tried to get Yusoff to sign the Borang Bongkar and intimidated him to do so, but he stood resolute and refused to sign it. Yusoff was thereafter taken to IPD Brickfields to do a urine test, which came out negative. The police then sent him back to IPK KL because they wanted to update some form or other, and they tried to get him to sign it, and he refused. Yusoff was then taken to IPD Wang Danwangi to do another urine test, which came out negative. And after this, Yusoff was taken to IPD Brickfields, where he first met the IO. This was about 8 or 9 at night. It was at this time that Yusoff was able to call his brother, who had then called us to inform us of Yusoff's arrest. He was in the lockup at IPD Brickfields that night. On the Saturday morning, there was a remand hearing, and the magistrate rejected the application for remand. That evening, Yusoff was taken to IPD Dangwangi and may have been rearrested there, and his remand would have expired, or he may have been illegally detained there until Monday morning when a remand order was allowed. And Yusoff believes that he was charged without a thorough investigation being done because the remand period was coming up to an end and they wanted to put him in. Yusoff was then held in IPD Danwangi until he was charged on 11 September 2024 under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act and was sent to Sungai Buloh prison. On 9 October 2024, Yusoff was charged under Section 36(1) of the Firearms Act. We have no doubt that Yusoff is being framed with the crimes under Section 39B and Section 36(1). And this goes back to what we said earlier, that we always feared for his safety. This fear goes back to the events that took place in 2018 and 2019. On around 2018, when Yusoff was in the employ of Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim, Farhash Salvador Rizal Mubarak, then the political secretary to Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim, had attacked and injured Yusoff. And sometime later, Dato' Sri's press secretary, Tengku Nashrun bin Tengku Abaida, had issued a defamatory statement against Yusoff. Yusoff filed a police report regarding the attack, and he filed a civil suit against Tengku Nashrun, where Yusoff succeeded in this case against Tengku Nashrun, and the court ordered damages and for an apology to be issued to Yusoff, which has not been complied with until today. As for the police report, there has been no progress on this. Ever since then, we have been very wary of Yusoff's safety. Yusoff, prior to his arrest, had noticed that he was constantly being followed and was generally vigilant, but it seems he was not vigilant enough. This whole episode has the family in a grip of fear for Yusoff's safety and for all our own safety and security as well. One would have thought that with the repeal of the ISA, that citizens are protected and the days of arbitrary detention are all behind us, but only to find that this does not stop the sinister practice of using existing laws to bring trumped-up charges. What is more frightening is how dissent is now being silenced. I had emailed the local chapter of an international rights organization about Yusoff's plight and did not get even as much as an acknowledgement from them. Dissenters have now been rendered deaf, dumb, and blind. Once our vibrant democracy has now been bersih-bersih diubah. It is in Machiavellian orchestration to use Section 39B to break Yusoff. Section 39B is a draconian law under which there is no recourse to bail at all. The courts are shackled from exercising their discretion in this matter. How can courts be shackled and they should break free from this horror? A person charged under Section 39B, despite it being oppressive, does not afford the accused early trial. They first have to wait for the chemistry report, which can take months to be ready, and for the accounts one reads in the press, it could take years for the case to come to trial. And only to find the defense may not be called, and all this while the accused languish in prison. Baru-baru ini ada kes di Mahkamah Tinggi Muar, di mana Shah Babah dan Samri Dalit dilepaskan oleh mahkamah tanpa dipanggil untuk bela diri. Tetapi apa yang merana sekali, dia ditahan pada tahun 2019. 5 tahun dia orang ada dalam penjara. Siapa yang tanggungjawab untuk ini? Kita. Kitalah yang kena jawab. Dan ini mungkin akan berlaku kepada Yusoff. Kejam sekali. Manakah di dunia yang bertamadun kita boleh ada sekatan atas budi bicara mahkamah? Atau bidang kuasa sedia ada mahkamah? Budi bicara mahkamah dan kuasa, bidang kuasa sedia ada mahkamah adalah hati perut mahkamah. Ia tidak boleh dirampas, ia tidak boleh dicambul. Mahkamah mesti ada budi bicara. Baru kita ada keadilan. Tanpa hati perut mana kita boleh ada keadilan? Such a practice should have no place in civilized society. Yusoff today is an unconvicted prisoner at Sungai Buloh prison. Yusoff suffers from lactose and dairy intolerance, and great care has to be taken in preparing his meals. In prison, Yusoff, as was what was last communicated with us, does not have breakfast. Dia tak boleh makan roti. Dia tak bersarapan. And his meals consist of rice, potatoes, and tauqua. 2 kali sehari. He has lost weight. How long has Yusoff to live like that? This is legalized torture. It is most unbearable and cannot be allowed to take place in this country.